Hi, my name is Shelomo Solson. I'm the host of Dreamers University. The first and third Tuesday of every month, I'm going to provide you with an episode filled with inspiring stories and practical tips to help you live your dream life. I'm going to do so all under 30 minutes. If you want to commit to achieving your dreams, go ahead, subscribe to this podcast, and enjoy this episode. Now, let's suppose you have a kid, or you have a partner, or maybe you don't have either or, maybe you have friends, and you promise them something. You might promise them that you're going to take them out on a fun date. You might promise them that you're going to hang out with them. You might promise them you're going to take your kids out for ice cream or an adventure. And that time comes around where you're supposed to fulfill your promise and something comes up. Maybe you have to go into work. Maybe you don't have enough money. Maybe you just feel lazy and you just don't have the energy. You make up some excuse to your partner, your kid, or your friend on why you can't either go on a date, go somewhere fun, or hang out with them. You tell them, I'm going to make it up to you. And they say, okay, it's not a big deal. It happened once. Next week goes around where you're supposed to take them out, where you're supposed to hang out with them. Another excuse comes around. Oh, something came up, or hey, I just really can't. Right now, it's not a good time. Hey, how about next month? Next month will be better. I have less work coming up. So next month comes around. Same thing. You find another excuse on why you can't hang out with them. 6 months goes around. 1 month goes, 6 months goes around. 1 year goes around. Now you're just making excuses. They stop asking you to hang out. They stop asking you to go on this little adventure with them. Because they know you're going to make up some excuse. If someone did that to you, if your friend did that to you, or if your partner did that to you, or if your parent did that to you, you may not be mad at them, but you kind of just have given up on them, knowing that, hey, maybe my friend who is so busy is never going to hang out with me, or my partner maybe just doesn't have the time for me, or maybe my parent doesn't have money. And so you kind of have given up on this idea that they're going to do something nice for you, or they might take you out, or they might hang out with you. We always have examples, or we always have those people in our life that constantly make excuses when you try to hang out with them, right? You know, it doesn't have to be your partner or your parent or your friends, whoever it is. But many of us have made excuses to ourselves on why we cannot pursue our dream. Maybe we tell ourselves, you know what, this week I'm going to find out a business plan I can pursue on this idea I have. Maybe this week I'm going to make some more content. I'm going to upload a song. Maybe I'm going to make a podcast episode. Maybe I want to write a book. I'm going to start that this week. This week comes around, you go to next week. And then the following month, 6 months goes around, 1 year goes around. You tell yourself, you know what, now is not a good time. Work is just really busy. My kids and my wife or my husband take too much time away from me right now. Maybe when the kids get a little bit older. Maybe when I free up my time. Maybe when I have a little bit more money. So you make all these promises to yourself that you're going to do something, but when that time comes around, you find another excuse. And just like you might have given up on a friend or on a partner who is constantly making excuses for themselves to be better for you or to hang out with you, maybe you have given up on your partner. The same thing applies to yourself. You start giving up on yourself. And you stop making excuses. And you have come to a point where you have accepted that you're never going to achieve these dreams. And what this podcast episode is going to be about is why now is the perfect time to go ahead and pursue your dreams and pursue your side hustle. Now, before I go into the 3 reasons why I believe that you should start working on your dreams today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year, not 2 years from now, not 10 years from now, not 20 years from now, today. But before I go into that, I want to introduce myself. I want to introduce this podcast just so you learn a little bit about what my purpose is, what you're going to get out of each and every episode. My name is Shelomo Solson, and I'm a motivational speaker, and I'm an author. My journey started when I was 6 years old, when I started going to speech therapy. And for about 7 years, I went to speech therapy. For about 15 years, I was made fun of for speaking funny. Every 2 minutes, I had to repeat myself because people couldn't understand me. The first 15 seconds of every presentation, people laughed at me. I became so insecure, I avoided presentations. I avoided speaking in front of groups of people like my friends and my family members. I avoided speaking on the phone because I thought I talked funny. And what that did, it created a lot of insecurities. And it wasn't until my early 20s I started removing some of those insecurities. I started becoming more confident. I read a book called Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And in this book, he talks about taking charge of your life, doing the things that you enjoy, pursuing your passion, pursuing your purpose. And I knew I loved inspiring people, and I've loved inspiring people ever since I was a freshman year in college. I loved giving encouraging words to other people. I always thought positively, and I wanted to share that with other people, but there was a problem. I wasn't very good at speaking. I had insecurities about speaking because I was made fun of for how I spoke. And I took it upon myself to try to figure out how to be a paid motivational speaker, how to interview other people, how to speak in front of large groups of people. And even though I'm not like this multi-million-dollar speaker just yet, I have been paid to speak. But I'm on the same journey as you, where I'm trying to figure it out. And I have a job. I work 8 to 6. I have my own personal problems. There's times where I feel exhausted. And what this podcast is going to be about is going to help you live your dream life. I want you to think about what your dreams are. Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you have your own ideas that you want to pursue? Do you want to be a motivational speaker? Do you want to be a writer? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want to build a successful family? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to gain weight? Whatever it is, what are your dreams? What is holding you back from achieving those dreams right now? Is it time? Is it money? Is it lack of motivation? Is it laziness? Is it maybe your family and your loved ones take too much time right now? Maybe you're just making excuses. What is it? Maybe you're going through your own personal problems. What is holding you back from achieving those dreams or pursuing those dreams? I want you to think about it. That is what Dreamers University is going to be about. It's going to inspire you to take action on those dreams. I surveyed nearly 100 working professionals, and over half of them said the top 3 challenges are, number 1, lack of motivation and laziness. Number 2, they want more in life. And number 3, they want more money. The past 8 years, I've talked to a lot of my loved ones. I've talked to friends. I've talked to family members who are doing well in life, but they are not fulfilled. They want to do something else. And Dreamers University is going to help them do that, because I'm going to be interviewing thought leaders. I'm going to be interviewing successful people around the world who have done amazing things. We're going to provide you with inspiring stories. We're going to provide you practical tips you can use on a daily basis. The practical tips that you and I can use to start working on our dreams. Now, I'm not new to podcasting. I've interviewed 85 people before on my old podcast, Teenage Impact. I released 110 episodes, and it did fairly well. It was listened to in over 30 countries. I've received messages from my podcast, from my book, from my speeches I've done, from different teenagers, because I inspire the youth as well. I've received messages saying, Shelomo, I've gone through periods of my life where I went through anxiety and depression during the pandemic, and you've helped me. I've received messages from people saying, hey, that was very inspirational. You've encouraged me to pursue my passions and my dreams. And what I talk to the youth about achieving your dreams and going after your dreams, I'm going to be speaking to you, a working professional, just like myself, on leveraging our time, leveraging what we love to do, and eventually create the life of our dreams. How Dreamers University is going to be structured is 75% of all my episodes are going to be interviews. And in my interviews, it's not going to be more than 30 minutes long, because I found out 20 or 30 minutes is a sweet spot, just enough for you to listen to and from work. And during my interviews, these people are going to provide their inspiring stories on how they achieved their dreams. They're going to provide you with practical tips that you and I can use on a daily basis. In the last 2 minutes, I'm going to ask them as many questions as possible, and these people have to answer in 1 or 2 sentences. It's a great way to learn more about the people that I'm interviewing on a personal level. I'm going to be releasing episodes for now, the first and third Tuesday of every single month. I'm mainly going to be covering 5 topics in Dreamers University: entrepreneurship, making money, leadership, manifestation, and mental health. Now, since I've gone over a little bit about my new podcast, Dreamers University, a little bit about myself, I want to go over the 3 reasons why I believe that you should start living your dream life. I want you to think about what some of your hobbies are, right? Maybe your hobby is playing video games. Maybe you like chess. Maybe you like decorating things. Maybe you like crossword puzzles. Maybe you like reading, whatever it is. Or maybe you like exercising. Whatever that you do that is your hobby, you always strive to get a little bit better. You always strive to get a little bit smarter. If you're playing a video game and there's 100 levels on it, and you're on level 1, then you do whatever it takes to get on level 2, then level 3, then so on and so forth. And it gets harder and harder and harder as you go. But strategically, you try to find out how to pass the level. There may be some barriers along the way that come up in the video games. But every time you play the video game, you may fail, but you figure out along the way on how to get better. When you're playing a video game, sometimes hours can go by, right? Hours. And you didn't realize that you just played 5 or 6 hours of video games because you were having so much fun. But then you go back to your life. You work your 8 to 5 job. You're waiting until 5 p.m. rolls around. You go home. You may watch TV. You may play more video games. And then you repeat the whole process over and over again. When you're playing video games, you have a specific goal in your mind. But when you're going through life, you don't have any goals in mind. And so now you feel unfulfilled. And I've talked to a lot of people in my life that feel this way, that make money, that one day they used to love their job. You know, they might go out with their friends, and then they repeat the whole cycle, day in, day out, week in, week out, year after year, with a goal in the back of their mind. And they live unfulfilled. 85% of people are not fulfilled with their job. But when you have a purpose, when you're on a mission, or when you have a certain goal in your mind, you become more fulfilled. And so the first reason why you should pursue your dream goal is so you can live a more fulfilled life. It's proven that when you're striving towards a certain goal, you're just happier. Now, you could come up with a certain excuse. Shlomo, I don't have time. Shlomo, I have an 8 to 5. Shlomo, I have a family. Shlomo, I have a social life. How am I going to find time to work towards this goal? But let me ask you this. Let's suppose that you have a dream goal in mind, right? You work towards that dream. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe 1 hour, every single day. And you can create smaller goals for yourself, eventually turns into big goals. Now you have a vision on where you're working towards. All of a sudden, you become a little bit happier. You become a little bit more alive again. Your relationships with your loved ones become better. You're more productive at work. You're more interactive with your children. Because now you have a sense of fulfillment with yourself. And your fulfillment with yourself comes first. And when you have fulfillment with yourself, it projects outwardly. And you become better at work. You have better relationships. You become happier. Now, I'm not telling you this, and I'm not making this up. I've seen it. I know people who have worked towards their dream, and they are super busy. And when I see them work towards their dream, I see a certain fire in their eyes that I have never seen before. And that is because they are working towards a goal. Now, the past few years for some of us have been very difficult, as some of us have been laid off from our job. Some of us went through troubles for about 1 to 2 years during the pandemic. You know, we have another recession coming along. Maybe you have gone through mental health struggles. Maybe you have gone through a breakup. Maybe you have just been so busy. And so you have been putting off your goals and your dreams for a very long time. But let me tell you, based off of my own personal experience, the second reason why you should pursue your dreams is there is no perfect time. There is no perfect time to do something. Because there will always be a time where we are busy. There is always going to be a time where we may be facing financial hardship. There's always going to be a time where something comes up. There's always going to be a time where work demands more from us. There's no other time to pursue your dream other than today. You may not know where to start, and that's okay. It's okay to not know where to start. I remember when I first started motivational speaking, way before I was paid. I joined Toastmasters at 23 years old. This was about 8 years ago, to learn how to speak in public. And I got over my fear. And eventually, I hired a mentor. I started taking courses. I started speaking for free. And as I made a lot of mistakes. I wasted a lot of money. I spent a lot of time. And eventually, I cracked my first speaking engagement, then my second speaking engagement, then my third and fourth and fifth. And same with the book. I had no idea how to write a book. I didn't know where to start. In fact, I failed basically every reading and writing assessment test as a child. In my mind, I'm thinking to myself, who's going to read any of my books? But I watched so many videos on writing books. I asked other people who have written books. I eventually figured it out. You can figure it out as well. Marie Forleo has a book called Everything is Figure It Outable. You have a goal. You may not know where to start. You may not think it's a perfect time. But if you put one foot in front of the other, if you spend a little bit of time every single day, it's going to eventually compound. And eventually, you will crack the code. And eventually, you will figure it out. Let's suppose you are pursuing your dream goal, right? And it doesn't go out the way you plan it to go out. Because it never does, right? When you pursue something and you think you have it all figured out, you realize that you really don't. But here's what happens when you pursue your dream goal. After 1 year, after 2 years, after 3 years, you start learning skills. And when you learn those skills, it will open more doors for you. And the third reason why you should pursue your dream goal, why today is a perfect time to pursue your dream goal, is because it can open more doors for you. It can open more doors. Maybe you pursue a business, right? You have a business in mind. It doesn't work out. You fail in a few years. You have that much more knowledge. You can go ahead and join a different startup. Maybe you meet someone along the way and they hire you for their business. But that would never happen if you didn't go out there and network and try entrepreneurship. Or maybe you learn a certain skill like copywriting for your business or public speaking, and you get hired for another business to run their operations or be a brand ambassador, or be a copywriter. Or maybe you start opening more doors in other ways. Maybe it can open financial doors for you. You know, how would it feel if you make an extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 extra a month? Maybe it can open doors for you that you never imagined, like traveling the world. If you want to be a speaker and you want to travel at the same time, you can speak at certain countries, and you can speak in certain cities and states, and travel and explore new places and do what you love to do for a living. So it can open new career opportunities. It can open new financial opportunities. You can maybe buy your parents a house. And then it can open new travel opportunities. Maybe you meet certain people that are lifelong friends. Maybe you meet your future partner while you're pursuing your dream goal. Whatever it is, as you pursue something, it may or may not go as you planned, but what it will do is the universe will align what you truly want. And it's going to align different, and it's going to open more doors for you that you have never imagined it can open. So here's a recap on the 3 reasons why you should pursue your dream goal today. Number 1 is that you're going to feel happier and you're going to find more fulfillment in life. Number 2, there's never going to be a perfect time. And number 3, it's going to open more doors for you. I want you to think about one thing that you have been putting off for a very long time. Think about what that one thing is. Think about why you have been putting it off. So that's my homework to you. Think about what you have been putting off. And stay tuned for my next episode where I'm going to be talking about how you can use compounding to achieve that dream goal. Since this is a new episode, I want you to go ahead, subscribe to this podcast so you can be notified every time a new episode is released. If you do know someone else that's going through a tough time, that has dreams and goals but have been procrastinating, go ahead, share this episode with them. If there's certain people that you want me to interview, or if there's certain topics that you have that you would like me to discuss, message me on Facebook or on Instagram at Shelomo Solson. I'm going to provide it in the show notes below. And just message me, DM me, let me know what type of topics you want me to discuss or people you want me to interview. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you.